is offering a large variety of floor and wall tiles at very competitive prices. Builders Paradise has over 2 million pieces in stock, lots of different styles to choose from. Whether you're renovating or tiling a new house, Builders Paradise has what you need.
Wow!
Oh, and remember, we're open all day Saturday to serve you better. This is something that you can't refuse. Visit Builders Paradise today at the C.A. Paul Southwell Industrial Site in St. Kitts or call them at 466-4938.
Good evening to the general public, those who are listening and viewing to the Caribbean's only powerhouse. We are here yet again for another edition of Let's Talk, today the 15th day of October 2024. We are here every Tuesday night with something that we think would intrigue you, something of interest, and of course your phone calls would be included. However, we are asking you kindly to be respectful of yourselves and, of course, to others. If you have something that you would wish to call in and be a part of the program, we ask you kindly you can jot it down so it can be close to hand, so you can be, as forthright, as forceful, but respectful as possible. My name is Roger FYFIELD, your host, sitting in house for tonight, and we are here this evening with a number of persons in the studio, and I'm going to give you an opportunity in a moment for them to introduce themselves to you. But this week, as we know, is International Credit Union Week, so no doubt you would guess by now who are in the studio with me this evening. Without further ado, I'm going to go to my immediate right and I'm going to say good evening, and I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves and of course which organization or institution they represent and their post, and any other thing that they want to say for the opening statement.
Thank you, Roger. Privileged to be on Von Radio, the powerhouse you're called.
It is
the powerhouse. My name is Peter Jenkins. I am the president of the St. Kitts Nevis National Cooperative League Limited, the umbrella body for credit unions on St. Kitts and Nevis. And it is a privilege to be here. It's an annual pilgrimage that we make to Von Radio during this week.
Thank you, Mr. Jenkins. We'll move to his immediate right. Good evening.
Hi, good evening, Roger, and good evening to all of the viewers and listeners of Von Radio and the Let's Talk program tonight. My name is Londi Esdale, and I am here representing the Nevis Cooperative Credit Union Limited. We are 52 years old, and I am the accounting and finance manager at that credit union. And so you'll hear more about what our plans are for this week and the rest of the month as we celebrate International Credit Union Week and International Credit Union Day on Thursday. And the theme for the celebration this year is One World through Cooperative Finance. And so as credit unions cooperating with each other, and you, our membership, cooperating with us, we will be able to put our portion in for the One World movement. Good evening, Roger. Happy to be here.
Thank you very much, Ms. Esdale and Mr. Jenkins. Now, you say Credit Union Week here in St. Kitts and Nevis, no doubt. Am I correct in saying that? In St. Kitts and Nevis? Internationally. Good. But before we go any further, I just want to let the listeners know we have other persons in the studio, but they are going to come in a little later on. So for this week, and any of you could probably answer this. What can we expect, with the general expect, coming out of this week? What's your main aim of having this week of activities?
Well, Roger, the main focus for this week is to provide information to the general public what the credit union movement is about, why persons should get involved in the movement, what are the benefits, the advantages, and how they can access those services that the movement provides. We would want to show what the credit union difference is to the other financial institutions, and give the general public the opportunity to interact with members of the movement, ask questions, so that we can provide answers to their questions, and to put them in a better position to access the services of the credit union movement in the Federation.
Mr. Jenkins, you would have said earlier on that the St. Kitts Nevis National Cooperative League that you are part of, that's the umbrella body that I suppose govern all the credit unions in St. Kitts Nevis.
I won't say govern. The institution that really governs or looks over the members would be the FSRC, Financial Services Regulatory Commission, which is a government institution. So to give you a bit of background so that persons listening can appreciate what is being discussed this evening. In the Federation, there are 4 credit unions. So these are financial co-ops. There are other cooperatives in the Federation, but we are dealing now specifically with the financial co-ops. There are 4 of them, and Lady Esdale would have, or Lady Esdale indicated that her credit union, the Nevis Cooperative Credit Union, is 52 years old. So at a glance, you could recognize that you are dealing with institutions that have matured and have a track record, and so persons can be comfortable. This is important, and I just want to make that point in a minute. Then there is the St. Kitts Cooperative Credit Union, which I think is 42 years. So another institution that has matured. Then there is the Police Cooperative, which I think started in 1982, if I am not mistaken. So they have some age as well. And then there is the First Federal Cooperative Credit Union, which was originally FND, Foundation for National Development, and then they merged into a credit union, and the name change came about 4 years ago to First Federal Cooperative Credit Union. And they argue that they're First Federal, that is the first federal, meaning in St. Kitts and Nevis. So there are those 4, and then there is an umbrella body called the League, which is the St. Kitts and Nevis National Cooperative League Limited, which is the umbrella body for all 4. And that body basically deals with training, advocacy, shared services, I did say training, and some oversight, in the sense that the quarterly performances of the movement is also forwarded to that institution. So we deal with, as I said, the oversight, so to speak. Now, in the Caribbean, there are 16 similar institutions. So we are the body in St. Kitts and Nevis. In 15 other countries, there are similar institutions called the League. And they come together under one umbrella called the Caribbean Confederation of Credit Unions, CCCU, which is the Caribbean body. 86,055 credit unions. You are not just joining a movement in St. Kitts. You are joining a worldwide movement that also has oversight by a government body. So when you invest in the credit union system in the federation, you have some form of protection. So that's the background. And so the worldwide movement is celebrating Credit Union Week from the 13th to the 19th. Credit Union Week from the 13th to the 19th. We went to church on St. Kitts and Nevis on Sunday, yesterday.
Esdale, your counterpart would have said earlier that you guys would enlighten us in terms of the difference between your cooperative credit union or unions and other financial institutions. Can you just give us, in a synopsis, what's the differences? The differences. In a synopsis, what's the differences? The differences.
The credit unions are owned by the members. The members are the shareholders. Everything that happens there is for the benefit of the members' shareholders. The other financial institutions are owned by a few persons who may not necessarily need the daily services that is being offered. They are just looking at an investment. But at the credit union, the investment is yourself, and so you want to ensure that everything happens right, that your credit union remains viable, that you can get all of the services that you require, not just for now, but for all of the tomorrows that you can possibly have. And so that is one of the integral differences between the credit union and the other financial institutions, the democratic ownership structure. And in terms of shareholders, I know we all recognize that shareholders have voting rights. And in the credit union system, it's one man, one vote. In the other financial institutions, your weight depends on how many shares you have. In the credit union, doesn't matter how many shares you have. One member, one vote. And so it equalizes it. It means then that every decision that you make, you are looking to make the best decision for all of the membership and not just for the 1%ers or the 2%ers.
How does one become a member of a cooperative credit union?
And so each one of the credit unions would have their own requirements for membership. And I believe for all of us, and my other colleagues will correct me if I have erred, but I believe for all of us, the members need to be residents and or nationals of the credit union of the federation. St. Kitts and Nevis. I'm talking about St. Kitts and Nevis. Credit unions worldwide would have different bonds, different things that would make them a member, and so Peter Jenkins would have mentioned the police credit union, and initially their bond would have been that you needed to be a police, obviously. And in other places you have teachers credit union. They have now opened their bond, right? But for us in Nevis, a little bit of our history is that while as the Nevis credit union we are 52 years, meaning that our bond of being a resident or a national of Nevis is 52 years, there would have been precursors and institutions which started before, and as the civil service credit union in 1964, of course only civil servants, and then it extended 2 years later to the Charlestown it was only persons who resided in Charlestown. Right? And then in 1972 he said, listen, we cannot disenfranchise our fellow Nevisians. If you're a Nevisian, then you can be a part of it. And so, you know, there are those different steps and so on that makes you eligible to become a member. And once you are eligible to become a member, you walk into the institution and you just say, I would like to become a member. And then you'll be told what are the requirements to become a member. And as times have moved on, and you would have heard that we are regulated, and our regulation goes all the way up to institutions which are on par with the World Bank and the IMF. Right? So it's not no little namby-pamby regulation. So the regulations are there to ensure that whatever we do, it is done for the movement, it is done for the membership, and that it can stand to scrutiny. Right? And so everything is there, and we meet these same requirements and anti-money laundering requirements and know your member requirements and all of that. We have to adhere to all of that to make sure that your funds that you put in the credit union remains safe.
Could I just add one thing to what Lady Esdale said in the question that you had asked before? I want to add something which is dear to a lot of people, in the sense that if you go to Nevis Cooperative Credit Union to get a loan, and you go to a bank to get the same loan, the basis of the analysis of that loan is different. You see, the other financial institutions are looking at profit. That is not the focus, the main focus of the credit union. The main focus of the credit union is to lift the member from here and to bring them up. And as part of the repayment is a savings component. So when you have completed paying back that loan, you are to have a savings that would assist you in moving forward with the next loan. Yes? So whereas the other financial institutions are simply concerned whether or not you can pay the interest, and when that's finished, it's finished. That is not the focus of the credit union. The focus of the credit union, because the financial principle of pooling your resources together, the idea is you borrow from that pool to help you to elevate to a next level, to a better standard of living. So this is critical, and the savings component, this is also very important, plus providing financial education, which is critical for our membership. So to add to what Lady Esdale said, those are some of the additional reasons why we encourage people to come to the credit union, because our focus is their movement upwards, the upward mobility, and not the profit center for the credit union. Of course, at the end of the year, if there's a profit, it is distributed amongst the members, yes, based on their involvement in the activities.
Thank you, Mr. Jenkins. Now, I'm kind of curious. You would have indicated that the Nevis Cooperative Credit Union would have been in existence for some 52 years, and I must applaud, your institution for being around for such a long time and still going strong from strength to strength, I dare say. But I'm not sure if I got from you when the league came into being, and if it came into being after the Nevis Cooperative Credit Union, then my question is, who had oversight of the Nevis Cooperative Credit Union?
When Nevis Cooperative started, there would not have been a league. Nevis was the pioneer. It started. There would have been some involvement with the Caribbean the regional body, because the regional body wasn't existent at that time, yes, having started in Dominica. So it is within the past 30 years, from my recollection, that the league has been in operation in the federation. And so before that, there was not that oversight. I wanted to add a point which Lady Esdale would not say, but that the Nevis Cooperative Credit Union is the biggest financial institution in Nevis. She wouldn't say that, but they are.
And when you say big, we are saying big in terms of what? Buildings, big in terms of...
Buildings, no. Big in terms of weight. Weight being financial resources, the amount of loans that they have out to persons in Nevis, their assets. That is what I'm talking about the biggest financial institution in Nevis. And so at the level of the OECS, they are considered an institution that has to be looked at, because if there is an issue with an institution like that, it can affect the whole currency. So that is the weight that Nevis Cooperative has in the federation and in the OECS space as a financial space, so to speak.
That speaks volumes of the Nevis Cooperative Credit Union. Now, I want to ask Ms. Esdale, what type of services your institution provides?
The Nevis Credit Union offers the basic services that you would expect to find at any financial institution. And so we offer the various suites of savings and loan products. But then that's what you would find everywhere. So the difference now that you would find at the credit union level, which is what makes us stand out, maybe that's what Brother Jenkins meant when he said that we are the biggest. But what makes us stand out are the value-added services that credit unions offer. And so some of the best kept secrets that we have at the credit union are our insurance products. And so we have what we call the loan protection, life savings, and advanced protector, and the FIP. Those are 4 different insurance products. So the loan protection, the credit union, the Nevis Credit Union, actually pays a premium on every loan that its members have up to the value of $50,000. That in the event of the death of the member, that loan is one less burden that their loved ones have to worry about. The credit union pays that premium. There is a life savings component, and we are saying, yeah, it's good for us to have the insurance to pay off the loan, but you probably want a couple of extra dollars in your hand, bills are unexpected. And so there is an $8,100 insurance that the credit union again pays for. So this is part of what we are doing for our members. The other 2 insurance products, then those we would ask the members to pay for. And so we have the FIP, Family Indemnity Plan, and most persons who are listening would know it as the funeral insurance. That's what they just always call it. And this is a plan that you, the member, pay for, but then it is so good that you can have other members of your family covered under your plan without any additional fees, no additional cost. So you are the only person paying, and you can have up to 5 other persons in your family, and we will tell you who those 5 persons can be that would qualify to be on your insurance. And then the last one, which we call the advanced protector, and that is the newest kid on the block. And this is an insurance that you will take out on your loan if you have a loan. So I said that the credit union pays the premium for any loan up to $50,000. The Advance Protector can give you insurance coverage for an additional $350,000. So if you've got a loan of $400,000, the credit union is paying the premium on $50,000, and we ask you to pay the premium on the additional $350,000, and that's on the reducing balance as well. Most insurance products, when you take it, they tell you the premium is $150 a month, and it remains at $150 a month until thy kingdom come. On this Advance Protector, the premium is going to reduce as the balance on the loan reduces, because what you're insuring is the loan. And it also has the component that you can have an insurance for 2 persons, and so if you and your wife have taken out the loan, both of you can apply for that, and in the event of the death of one party to that loan, the entire loan is paid. Again, this is now one less hassle for the remaining partner, and you've now lost an income, and so definitely you will be very happy to lose that debt along with it. Right? And so those are some of the products, the value-added products that the credit unions offer, which you would not find at the other financial institutions. Additionally, at the Nevis Credit Union, we have what we call the DRAP, Disaster Relief Assistance Program. And yes, we say to our members, listen, as your credit union, if you can just contribute $1 per month, $12 a year to that program, when anything happens, any type of disaster happens, this is a pool that all of you as credit union members have contributed to, that you can now come to and say, listen, I need some help. And so we offer help. Fire damage your home, a hurricane has come and damaged your home, you had a terrible accident, and there was no health insurance to help out. So many persons are coming down with strokes and heart disease and you know, and so on. And so this is thing, you can come and say, listen, I have been contributing to this pool, and this is the time now that I need some help. We're not going to go looking through and say, okay, well, you contributed $12, and so we're going to give you back $12. Because if everybody, and we're talking, if we have 5,000 persons putting in $12 a year, that's 60,000, right? And so you can now go and say, yes, there's money there, that now one person has come and is asking for assistance. And you would agree with me, Roger, that a lot of times you see people start having a concert because somebody got sick, or people start having a barbecue because somebody got sick, or people start having a car wash because somebody got sick. But this is a pool of funds here that you don't need to go do all that, because you've been putting in those drop by drop by drop by drop and filling up that bucket, and the bucket got full and it didn't run over, it just expanded and got a little bigger.
How persons go about doing this job? Is it voluntarily, or it comes from maybe the account?
It's voluntary. We're asking our members to just voluntarily put this contribution in on an annual basis. And if you can't do it annually, and you can do it every 2 years, every 3 years, but just volunteer to put it in. And I really believe that all of us can afford $1 a month.
So if one were to come at the Nevis Cooperative Credit Union tomorrow, what do they have to do? Would they just have to ask for this particular account?
Just go to any member of staff and say, listen, here's $10, here's $12, here's $20, I want it to go to DRAP. That's it.
So the current name of the account is DRAP?
Yes, Disaster Relief Assistance Program, DRAP.
Okay. Also, it's actually an acronym?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Okay, now let's get back to the FIP, which you say colloquially referred to as the funeral insurance. Now, are there a particular amount that can be insured, or it's a set amount?
So there are actually 7 different plans, and they are $5,000, $7,500, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, and $30,000. And so you purchase the one that best fits your pocket. And you can upgrade, but you can't downgrade. And so if you started out at 30,000, you can't say, well, listen, I can't afford that, I'm going to come down to 20. So it probably might be better to start at 20, and then as you see yourself, because funerals are expensive. Funerals are expensive, and as I said, you're paying just for yourself. But now, since you've expanded and asked me to expound on it, you can have up to 5 other family members. And so here are the criteria for the up to 5. As the member and as the spouse of the member, so that's 2. Then we can have any combination of 2 parents, meaning 2 parents of the member, 2 parents of the spouse, 1 parent each of the member or the spouse, and could be adopted parents, so as long as there's legal documents. And so that's any 2 parents. It could be one of the spouse and one of the member. And then you can have children up to age 25 if they are still in school.
So what happened after age 25?
After age 25, we are saying they really should have been encouraged by then to become a member and get their own plan. Right, so up to age 25, at age 26, they are no longer covered on the parents' plan. However, there's a caveat to that. You might ask, well, suppose my child is one of those special needs children. If that is documented and information has been submitted to support that before, that child stays on for life. The parents, as long as those parents become a part of the plan by age 75, so that's before their 76th birthday, they too stay on for life. So while the children would have to come off, the parents, as long as they're on before that age, they're on for life.
You spoke to spouse. But what about common law? Do you? There
are certain things in place to recognize common law, but you would have to be able to prove, the burden of proof would be on you to say that, yes, this is my common law spouse. Have you been cohabiting for whatever number of years? Are there documents to show? And so you would have to, the burden of proof would be on you, but yes, common law would be accepted if you can prove that that is the case.
No, I'm happy you went that path, because some of the things that I've been hearing, is that the credit union now moving like the banks, in that, they know where I live, but they're still asking me for proof to state where I live and my address in terms of providing a bill and stuff like that. Can you just clarify for the benefit of us?
So one of the things that Brother Jenkins mentioned is that we are regulated, and this regulation is to protect the institution itself, the reputation of the institution, and to protect more so the members. We do not want any person to come in who is of ill repute with funds that is considered quote-unquote unclean and getting it mixed up in the credit union, because then the regulators will then come in and show from the regulations where we would have erred, and then start fining the credit unions. That fine in the credit unions, that would be money that really should be coming to you as a shareholder. We also do not want to have an instance where Roger Fifield comes in and gets money from Roger Fifield number 2 account because somebody did not check to see, well, there are 2 Roger Fifields in the system. Yes, you know it's me, but are you the Roger Fifield that is in front of me? Are you the one that is asking for the funds? Are you asking for the funds from your account, or are you trying because there's another Roger Fifield? There isn't another one, right? I only know you. Yeah, but because you know that there's another one, and you know as well as I do that there are certain names that are very popular.
Yes.
There are so many people with that same name. And so it behooves you, the member, to cooperate with us when we say, please bring in your IDs, bring in your proof of address, bring in things, because this is information that we can use to verify who you are. Now, you may meet a member of staff who has been there for a long time who knows you, but what happens tomorrow when you come and you meet a member of staff who is new? You would want to be sure that that person has policies and procedures that they are following to ensure that you are getting your money and that nobody else is getting your money, and that you are not getting somebody else's money. And so all of these, it is for best practices and for protection of the credit union and for protection of its members. Our members are our movement. Without our members, we are nothing. And so we have to protect each other. And so when we ask you as our members to come in, bring in 2 pieces of ID, bring in a proof of address, bring in a proof of income and so on, we are looking at all of the rules, the laws, the regulations and so on that are in place to protect you, and so that we can grow and grow responsibly, and that you will always have what you require. Nothing is worse than when you give somebody something telling, hold this for me till I come back. And when you come back, it's not there.
Could I just add to what was said?
Go right ahead.
To reassure the public that the credit unions are part of the international financial system. We are not separate. We are part of the international financial system. And therefore, the rules and regulations that govern, for example, anti-money laundering, we have to abide by those regulations. The regulations that deal with counter-terrorism finance, we also have to abide by those. And so there's an oversight committee of the FSRC, and that body has to report internationally, World Bank, IMF, to make sure that we are in conformity. Yes? And so when you go to the credit union and they ask for these 2 pieces of ID, proof of address, it is not that we are making it up of our own and saying that this is what we want. We have to comply with the international regulations, as Lady Esdale would have said, to protect you, because we have to make sure that when the transaction is done, it is a clean transaction, above board transaction that does not compromise the integrity of the credit union and put the membership in jeopardy because they did not pay attention to the particular regulation that has to be followed. There has been some movement in the Caribbean towards easing some of the regulations and make them more specific to the credit union system. But you have to bear in mind that when you do that, then there's benefit cost. There's a risk. At the moment, the regulations are in place. They have not yet been amended. So we ask persons who come to the credit unions to bear with us and try to appreciate that those regulations are in your individual interest.
I think we are due for a break. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Talk That Get Results, this 15th day of October 2024. In our studios, we have with us Mr. Peter Jenkins from the St. Kitts Nevis Cooperative League. Also, we have Miss Lundy Esdale of the Nevis Credit Union. When we come back, we are going to hear from 2 other persons that representing other credit unions.
offering a large variety of floor and wall tiles at very competitive prices. Builders Paradise has over 2 million pieces in stock, lots of different styles to choose from. Whether you're renovating or tiling a new house, Builders Paradise has what you need.
Wow!
Oh, and remember, we're open all day Saturday to serve you better. This is something that you can't refuse. Visit Builders Paradise today at the C.A. Paul Southwell Industrial Site in St. Kitts or call them at 466-4938.
Ladies and gentlemen, with our another episode of Let's Talk. We had moments ago Ms. Lundy Esdale of the Nevis Cooperative Credit Union and also Mr. Peter Jenkins of the St. Kitts Nevis Cooperative League. Ladies and gentlemen, we have two other gentlemen here with us, and I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves and to tell us which institution they're representing tonight and to give any information that they want to get out. I'm going to start at my immediate right.
Good evening to all. My name is St. Clair Hodge. I'm representing the St. Kitts Cooperative Credit Union, or SKCU as we are known. I'm the Product Development Manager for the St. Kitts Credit Union. As mentioned before, we are celebrating a week of activities for the International Credit Union movement. On Thursday, of course, we'll have our activities at our locations in St. Kitts. We have 2 locations in St. Kitts, one at Bladen Commercial Development and one at the corner of Keon and Church Street. So we'll have all our members will be able to come and take part, get their tokens, get their snap plates, and enjoy the atmosphere at the St. Kitts Credit Union.
Thank you, Mr. Hodge. We're going to move on to the gentleman next to you.
Alright, good evening everyone. My name is Earl LeQuant and I work at First Federal Cooperative Credit Union. And tonight, well, I'm a credit officer by the way, and tonight I'm here to spread the word about First Federal Cooperative Credit Union, what we have to offer, and also what we'll be celebrating this week, some of the events and activities that we have planned for you. And I'm also here to speak about some of the promotions that we have as we're celebrating some significant milestones this year. As Mr. Jenkins would have mentioned earlier, this year we are celebrating 40 years as an institution. So we started off as a foundation for national development, and we became a credit union, a cooperative credit union in 2009. So that's about 15 years now. And 5 years ago, we rebranded to First Federal Cooperative Credit Union. So tonight, I'm here to spread the word about First Federal Cooperative Credit Union.
Thank you, Mr. Hodge and Mr. LeQuant. Thanks.
No problem.
Yes, for those of us who may not know, where exactly is the First Federal Cooperative Credit Union?
So firstly, let me say the First Federal Cooperative Credit Union, a lot of persons ask us where did we get our name from, and we call it the First Federal Cooperative Credit Union because we're actually the first and currently the only credit union in the Federation that serves both St. Kitts and the Nevis. So we have a branch located in Nevis on Chapel Street. We also have 2 branches in St. Kitts right now, one in Bladen and one on Central Street, and we also have a new branch that will be opening in Molyneux as well. So a lot of persons would already know that because we have a billboard outside and everything, but that's a new branch that we have coming out. So we will have 3 branches in St. Kitts and 1 branch in Nevis.
Very well. And I suspect that the St. Kitts Credit Union is in St. Kitts.
Yes, we are in St. Kitts, but in the true spirit of cooperation, we have a memorandum of understanding with the Nevis Credit Union, where if you need funds and you're in St. Kitts, you can get those funds from St. Kitts and vice versa. So we work smart, not hard.
So if I'm a member of the Nevis Cooperative Credit Union, for instance, and I am in St. Kitts and I maybe run low on funds, you are saying that I can come to your institution and get some monies?
That is correct.
Okay.
You just pop in and then we do the transaction, we verify it, and you get your funds to go.
And I suspect there is no real need for that for the First Federal Cooperative Credit Union, as you have a branch on Nevis and
That
two
is
branches in St. Kitts.
That is correct.
Okay. Now, what makes your institution unique? What would you want to tell us why we should be a member of your particular credit union? I'm going to start my immediate right.
Okay, the St. Kitts Credit Union, we're a vibrant movement. We have the same characteristics as what was mentioned before. We sit in the same cooperative values. What makes us special and unique is our drive for technology. We live in a space where we have the appetite to increase technology for our members, and everything we do down to our systems and our procedures is geared toward the member. Now, there are some limitations, and as Mr. Jenkins said before, we are regulated by the FSRC, and there are certain things that we can't change immediately, but we have the mindset for our members to make things as convenient as possible, to keep a pace with technology so that they get access to the products and services they need at the St. Kitts Credit Union. So our drive on technology is one that makes us unique, definitely not independent of everybody else, but we are very unique in that aspect for the credit union movement. So we continuously look for avenues to improve so that our members can benefit from the various technologies.
Alright, well, at First Federal Cooperative Credit Union, one of the things that we love to boast about, and it makes us super unique in the Federation, is that we offer one of the highest interest rates on our savings. You know, we offer 4.5% on fixed deposits, and we have a savings plan which is the multiplier savings, where we offer 3.5% on that savings account. Now, the special thing about our multiplier savings is that you have to deposit at least $100 per month. And after a 1-year period, you can have that roll over into a 2-year fixed deposit. Now, the good thing about it is, you know, usually to get a high interest on a fixed deposit, you have to start with at least $50,000 and up. With the multiplier, you can have it roll over into a fixed deposit where you get an interest rate of 4.25%. And that will be for whatever amount you have in the multiplier at the time. So let's say you only have $1,200, you could get 4.25% on that $1,200. Another thing that sets us apart from the other institutions on a whole, we offer a business builder account, and usually, which is something that is unheard of, we pay you interest on your checking account. So we have an interest bearing checking account, which is 0.5, and we offer free depository services on that business builder. We have almost no fees to start up that account. All you would need would be $1,000 for your permanent shares investment and $100 to start on your checking account. So those are two of the things at First Federal that we offer, which sets us apart from the other institutions.
You would have said something that is very interesting in terms of interest being paid on your checking account. I can't recall hearing of that before.
Mm-hmm.
How do you go about getting your checkbook? I think other banks, the banks I should say, you know, would probably charge you X amount to get maybe a 50-page, 100-page checkbook. Do you charge for your checkbooks and still pay interest?
Well, yes, so we do charge on the checkbooks. It's a very low fee, by the way. But with the business builder account, your first checkbook on that account is completely free. So that one is on us, but you do have to pay for the checkbooks.
I think that is really interesting, and of course, what I think would probably set you apart, from the others, is your very high interest rate, 4.5% on fixed deposit.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, are there any other thing that you want to tell us?
Okay, so for the St. Kitts Credit Union, this is Credit Union Week. We need persons to understand what the credit union movement is all about. We want to ensure that everybody understands why we do this. And again, it's all about the members. The focus is all about the members. Now, when it comes to investment, there's a lot of talk about the shares. Now, we offer probably the lowest share buy-in out of all of the credit unions. It's just $100 shares in permanent shares. But the shares, we use the share as an investment, and we encourage what we call cradle to grave strategy. So the cradle to the grave strategy includes getting that initial savings for those children who are under 16, moving them into a savings after 16, helping them go through each stage of their lives, and then eventually, when the inevitable happens, have something there set aside for when they pass. And then you roll over into the generational wealth. So that's the first thing that we introduce our members to, the investment of permanent shares. A lot of people are a little bit apprehensive to put more money into the permanent shares. But when you look at the investment, for example, last year we paid 10% dividend. So imagine you had the same amount invested in a fixed deposit, which probably yield 4.25, but we paid a dividend of 10%. That's a more lucrative investment. So when you look at permanent shares, you look at it as an investment, not just a fixed deposit, but you look at it as a long-term investment. It's something that can be there for you in retirement, so you don't have to only depend on Social Security, but you can have a second avenue of revenue coming in and consistently being matured. So that's something we really want to have people understand. Once they understand that, then we move to our different products, because we have an in-trust for children. You have a child that is under 16. Of course, it has to be paired with an adult, but that's a start. You can make that investment for that child, then they could graduate into a junior savers after 16, and then when they're 18, into a regular savings. And by that time, the coaching and the education that we offer in the schools with the children, they would then understand how banking is operated, how saving is done, and they can start their lives on the right foot, not head first into bad debt, but grooming themselves into a financial future.
You would have spoken to technology. I don't know probably the age range of your members, but let's say there is you have maybe an 80-year-old, 70-year-old, maybe somewhere in Passing Grounds or Ajigat, somewhere in St. Kitts, and they probably are a current member, and you going apace with technology, and they are slow in catching up. How do you go about bringing them up to speed? Do you have education? How do you go about doing that?
So that's a good question. So we do have educational sessions, and we do have our member services who are there to take the time to help them to understand the service. However, we take a two-pronged approach, because those same persons, the 70-year-old or the 80-year-old coming in from Ajigat or Sandy Point or wherever, it's a unique situation because they actually enjoy the outing. So we did some renovations recently, and we were deliberate in actually creating a little bench within our space, and that's for the elderly, because they would come at a specific time every week just to draw off maybe $10 or $20 just because they want to see their credit union family. And you know, if you're outside of the movement, you'll think it's strange, but when you get inside the movement, you understand what it is. So we have a broad spectrum. You have to cater for your older members. They still want their books. Okay, we give them their books. We show them how to write them up. They want to see it there. But we have a growing population that is young and vibrant, and they're into technology, so we have that prong that serves them. So we have our online banking, we have our apps, so we utilize those with our younger generation or younger demographic. But then for those who are set in their ways, more seasoned, and we call them more mature, they come, they enjoy the space, they come and they talk, we go out on the floor, we meet them, and you know, we make sure that they enjoy their day.
Very well. Ladies and gentlemen, it's just the top of the hour. It's 8 p.m., 1 minute to 8. We are here with members of the various credit unions as they celebrate Credit Union Week. And of course, they would have indicated to us that the week started on the 13th and it's going to go through until the 19th of this month, which Thursday the 17th is their big day. They are going to tell us more about that and the other activities when we are back.
From the tower, this is the powerhouse of the Eastern Caribbean, VON Radio, from the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Builders Paradise is offering a large variety of floor and wall tiles at very competitive prices. Builders Paradise has over 2 million pieces in stock, lots of different styles to choose from. Whether you're renovating or tiling a new house, Builders Paradise has what you need.
Wow!
Oh, and remember, we're open all day Saturday to serve you better. This is something that you can't refuse. Visit Builders Paradise today at the C.A. Paul Southwell Industrial Site in St. Kitts or call them at 466-4938.
This our edition of Let's Talk the 15th day of October, and we are hearing from members of the various credit unions here on Nevis and also in St. Kitts. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, you could be a part of this program by calling 1-869-469-1700 or 1-869-469-1616. Your calls would be greatly appreciated. You can direct your questions, concerns, or even a suggestion to any member of the panel here this evening. So just want you to know that. Feel free to call. Now we are back, and we are back with the Mr. St. Clair Hodge, Product Development Manager of the St. Kitts Credit Union, and we are also back with Earl LeQuint, a credit officer of the First Federal Cooperative Credit Union. Now, gentlemen, you are celebrating International Credit Week, and I'm sure that you have a number of activities, and some that would have gone before and some that are upcoming. You probably want to let us know about those that went before and those that are upcoming, and if we, the general public, could participate in any of those, and how we go about participating in them.
Okay, sure. At the St. Kitts Credit Union, well, we celebrated with the league on Sunday with the church service. Yesterday, St. Kitts Credit Union, we went on Win FM in St. Kitts, and we had a really good show there, having conversations, just educating persons, just like what we are doing now, talking about our products, talking about the movement and why we do this. Today, earlier, we were on ZIZ Radio in St. Kitts, and now we're here in Nevis. Been moving around a lot. Tomorrow, we are starting the first recording of our internal show. So we are actually doing an internal financial literacy show that will be recorded and aired. So it's about anything to do with financial literacy. So we're going to have that developed in-house. We're going to be teaching people the do's, the ins and outs of financial literacy, and have that aired as much as we can. And we're going to be producing that going forward as long as we have the ability to. So tomorrow, that's the day where we start our recording and we start launching out on that product. Also on Thursday, we have our celebration of the Credit Union Day. We have our snack plates, we have our tokens that we'll be giving out. Tomorrow, on Thursday, we also would have a very soft opening for our new ATMs. Now, we just commissioned 3 new ATMs in St. Kitts, 2 at the new branch, 1 at the headquarters. The 4th will be commissioned shortly, and they are state-of-the-art. They're touch to the screen. They have increased user experience, and it's something that we're very proud of because we've been having some issues with the antiquated machines. Now they're up to par, up to speed, and I think our members are enjoying them a lot right now. And then down the road we'll be adding more features on them, so we are very proud of that process. Like I said, we are following the trend of technology to make the experience so much better. So all of that will be done on Thursday. On Friday, we promote health. So we have nurses at the headquarters. They'll be doing health checks, blood pressure, similar tests on our members, and whatever else that they require, our members require, they will be there at the headquarters doing those activities on Friday, as well as we'll have a couple of our farmers. They'll be there to showcase their healthy fruits and vegetables. They'll be on sale right there at the headquarters, so they can come in, do their business, get their fresh produce, and start their journey to healthy living by eating healthy. On Saturday is our penultimate event, and this is, I'm not sure if we've ever had this. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Jenkins, but I think this is the first time we've had all of the credit unions, excluding Nevis, because I think they have an event, come together to organize one event. So on Saturday is our fun day. So the fun day is open to the general public, all our members. It's a free entry into the park, and it's going to be at the NCI grounds in St. Kitts, which is formerly the Flow grounds. And it's just a time where everybody can come, have fun. There'll be bouncing castles, there'll be games, there'll be food on sale, and the food and drinks that are on sale will be by our members, our small businesses. So each credit union has small business vendors. They will be located there. We will each have a booth. So if you need to sign up for an account or you want to ask some questions, we will have a booth at the fun day as well. You can ask questions, you can get all the information that you need. So on Saturday, we really invite every single person to come out. There'll be food, music, games. It's just a fun time for everyone, and it's a collective effort.
Mr. Hodge, for those who might have tuned in a little late, you would have referred to your headquarters. Can you just indicate to us exactly where is your headquarters located?
So our headquarters is located at Bladen Commercial Development in St. Kitts. That's on the Wellington Road. When you're leaving Bastia heading to the countryside, it's right up at the Bladen Commercial Development.
And you said the funder is open to the general public, more so members. If I am not a member, can I be a part of the funder?
Of course, because the whole concept of it is to introduce the movement to everyone. And if you're not a part of the movement, this is your opportunity to come and learn and see what the movement is all about. And it's a chance for us to sell. You know, we can sell to you and say, hey, this is why you would want to join. And then if you want to sign up on the spot.
And just for clarity, the health checks on Friday, is it just for staff members?
Well, it's not just for staff, but it's actually for members who are coming into the business. So it's an annual event. We usually have members coming into the bank to transact. Friday is usually a busy day, so when they finish their transactions, they will go out and get their blood pressures checked, or they will get something checked. So it's an opportunity for them to come, do their business, and get health checks right away. You know, it's convenient for them because it's right at the bank, and they can go on the merry way after.
Okay, very well. Mr. LeCointe, you want to tell us about your activities?
Absolutely. So I'm happy to share everything that we will be having for our members this week. However, before we get into that, I actually want to speak because as I would have mentioned earlier, we're celebrating some milestones this year. And as part of these celebrations, we have organized a full calendar of events. We've already been on air and we've spoken about this before, and we've been, broadcasting it as much as we can. But just to remind the persons of the events that we have upcoming as we're celebrating these milestones. Some of the things that we've had so far: we've had our island-wide rally in St. Kitts, we've had our Soca Aerobics Fitness Fete on the Frigate Bay lawn, and we've had countless member appreciation days. Now, the couple events that we have upcoming would be our member wellness fair, which will be in both St. Kitts and Nevis. We're also going to have a pop-up shop in Nevis as well. So for the Nevis members, we have not forgotten you. We have a lot in store for you, and more information will be out about that pop-up shop. We're also going to host our first personal and business finance forums, and then we're going to have a special event to celebrate our elderly members. And that's it for our milestones. As it pertains to our credit union week of activities, we went to church at the league on Sunday as well. Tonight we're here.
Mr. LeCointe, if I can just interject here.
Sure.
You say elderly members. I'm qualified.
How old are you?
Well, maybe you can tell us, who qualify, your definition of elderly persons.
Well, that will be for members that are 60 and over.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. So, as I was saying, in terms of the credit union week of activities. Oh, by the way, do you qualify?
I'll have to pull up the calculator, and I'm not as good as maths as maybe you guys are, so I'll have to take up the calculator, and when I get around to working it out, I'll let you know.
Okay, no problem. But I'll keep you in mind regardless.
Thank you.
And we're here tonight on Vaughan Radio for this joint radio program. Tomorrow we'll be on Freedom FM. And on the 17th, we'll be celebrating our Members Appreciation Day. But that day will be special because we're not only celebrating our members, but we're also showing appreciation to our members of staff who make your experience at First Federal an unforgettable one. And for the Members Appreciation Day, it's going to be a day of a difference because we're going to be having Pop the Balloon, but it's not the Pop the Balloon that you're thinking of that you've been seeing on social media. Once you come in to do a transaction, if you're making a deposit, if you're purchasing permanent shares, or you're opening an account, depending on the amount that you're depositing at the time, you'll get an opportunity to pop a balloon, and that will determine what prize you will win. So the color balloon, so just to be a little bit more specific, let's say for example you were to deposit $5,000 in that day, then you'd be able to pop a black balloon. And it's surprises that are in the balloon, so I won't be saying what you can get a chance to win. So make sure you come in on that day to ensure that you purchase some permanent shares, invest in your future on that specific day. And on Friday, which is the 18th, we'll be celebrating Financial Literacy Day. Now, I'm not sure if I mentioned earlier, but we have a promotion that is out right now, which is our mortgage promotion. This is a milestone mortgage promotion that we have, and we're offering interest rates as low as 4.5% with up to 40 years to repay, and this is 100% financing. Now, what I was about to say as it pertains to this is on Financial Literacy Day, we're opening the floors, so all of our credit officers will be available on that specific day. We won't have any appointments. We're going to be available on the outside for persons who want information and consultation for mortgages. So a lot of persons have been reaching out to us as it pertains to the amount they would qualify for in terms of a mortgage. Because we have such a high volume of inquiries, there may be a delay in getting back to you. So on Friday would be the day to visit First Federal, because on that day you'll be able to get that information from a credit officer. And as Mr. Hodge would have indicated, on Saturday we all come together as one to celebrate the Members Fund Day.
And the similar question that I asked Mr. Hodge. First Federal Cooperative Credit Union is located exactly where?
So we have 3 locations. We are located on Chapel Street in Nevis. We're located on Keon Street in St. Kitts, and also our main branch is in Bladen. And in the future, we will have a branch in Molyneux very, very, very soon.
Okay. I know you would have said this before, but as I indicated earlier when I was speaking with Mr. Hodge, this is for the benefit of those who might have tuned in late, so they know exactly where to find you. I think that all of you guys, I'm wondering if I can join all of the credit unions. You have so much to offer.
That is possible.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Oh, great. Now, one of the things that I learned earlier is that you don't compete against each other. You complement each other, so to speak. But I think it's a fine line. How do you go about getting your membership drive, if there isn't some sort of competition? I don't know if any of you want to answer that, or if you want to probably turn it over to Mr. Jenkins from the league.
Well, on the ground, there is competition. There will always be competition. Because we are in the spirit of cooperation, we do look out for each other, but at the end of the day, we have to compete for our own piece of the pie. Now, St. Kitts Nevis is very unique in that we have a limited amount of members, and what's special about us is that the members can sign up for more than one credit union. So even though we have a small population, we all have significant growth because you have members signing up for various credit unions and taking part and participating actively in all of the credit unions. And that is something that we can say we take pride in, but at the same time, we are very cautious about that because we don't want them to overextend themselves and extend themselves here, extend themselves there, extend themselves there. So as Mr. Jenkins alluded to, the FSRC regulates us, so we follow our guidelines to ensure that our members are well taken care of and that they don't end up in a serious position.
Okay. I know that each credit union would vary with certain things. So this question is for both of you. For your particular credit union, after one would have signed up, how soon that person becomes a member? Does that information have to go and be scrutinized and verified?
Well, I'll go first. Once you've signed up and all is done, it's done. You're a member. So once you've signed it on the dotted line, you've paid your fees, the process goes through almost immediately and you are a member, unless there are special conditions and circumstances where there will have to be a period where there's some evaluation. But on a regular, once you've completed the application process, you're a member, you're good to go, you're ready to move.
How about your institution, the First Federal Cooperative Credit Union, Mr. LeCointe?
So at First Federal, it's basically the same thing that Mr. Hodge would have indicated. However, there are a few cases where it may not be immediate. For example, if someone wants to open a business account, we must do some checks and balances to ensure that all is well before we go ahead and open that business account. However, we try to ensure that you are onboarded within 48 hours. So even if in some cases it may not be immediate for business accounts, We try to have that done in 48 hours. Whereas a regular account, you walk in, as long as your permanent shares are purchased, you become a member immediately.
One of the things that I would have heard too is that one would not be able to get a loan unless they become a member. Now, if I were to go in the credit union at 8:10, I sign my papers, by 10 o'clock the documents would have been processed. Can I apply for a loan and get it?
Absolutely. So actually at First Federal Credit Union, you can actually open your account with a loan officer. So you come right in, we open your account, and your loan application process begins right away.
Well, I'm happy that you clear up that, because I was of the opinion, and I'm sure other persons was of the same opinion, that you probably have to be a member for a certain period, or maybe it vary from credit union to credit union. So at least for the St. Kitts Credit Union and the First Federal Credit Union, I said basically almost instantaneously you can get a loan.
That is correct.
Correct.
Okay. Well, when Ms. Esdale comes, I'm going to ask her the same question to, as I said, I know the different credit unions would probably vary slightly, but I'm sure all the credit unions have one main goal, basically, and that is to uplift their membership.
Correct.
Okay. The fund day, Mr. Hodge, it's open to all and sundry. Any special incentives for members on Nevis in terms of transportation?
Well, at this point, we do not have anything specific for them. It's not that we deliberately left them out. It's just that we actually put this together within the last week. This was actually an idea born from the St. Kitts Credit Union, and we mentioned it to the other credit unions in a meeting, and everybody jumped on board. As I said before, the Nevis Credit Union already had an event planned, which is why they're not on board. So it's something that we are seriously considering, even for next year. We're gonna throw it out again, and if it goes well, then definitely for next year, that's something we will consider. Maybe we have it in Nevis next year, who knows? But it's just an idea. It's for us to show the cooperation between the movement.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I must remind you that you are listening to Let's Talk, this 15th day of October 2024. In the studio with us, we have members of the cooperatives on St. Kitts Nevis. I've just been talking with Mr. Earl LeQuint, Credit Officer of the First Federal Cooperative Credit Union, and Mr. St. Clair Hodge, Product Development Manager. We are going to take a short commercial break, and we are going to be right back with you.
Paradise is offering a large variety of floor and wall tiles at very competitive prices. Builders Paradise has over 2 million pieces in stock, lots of different styles to choose from. Whether you're renovating or tiling a new house, Builders Paradise has what you need. Wow! Oh, and remember, we're open all day Saturday to serve you better. This is something that you can't refuse. Visit Builders Paradise today at the C.A. Paul Southwell Industrial Site in St. Kitts or call them at 466-4938.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with your show, the Let's Talk program, talk that get results. You would have just heard from the credit officer of the First Federal Cooperative Credit Union, Mr. Earl LeCointe, and Mr. St. Clair Hodge, product development manager from the St. Kitts Credit Union. Ladies and gentlemen, before we go back into the heart of what we are discussing this evening, I must say a special good evening to my fellow panelists who are usually here on a Tuesday night, and of course a special good evening to Mr. Everett Weber Herbert, our usual host, and of course to all the past panelists. You know, I don't want to go into names, they know who they are. A special good evening to all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, we are asking you to, if you have any concerns, questions, suggestions, you can call 1-869-469-1700 or 1-869-469-1616, and we'll be happy to accept your calls. Now we have changed out once again, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back with Mr. Peter Jenkins of the St. Kitts and Nevis National Cooperative League and Miss Lundy Esdale of the Nevis Cooperative Credit Union. Welcome back.
Thank you. I was wondering, well, firstly let me compliment the three representatives from the various credit unions. We didn't have anyone here from police, but let me just say that police has arrangements with, I think, Nevis Cooperative, so that their members can access funds in Nevis as well. I think I'm correct with that. And I also wanted to congratulate the three colleagues for their outstanding performances or presentations and representation. I think I was going to ask if Lady Esdale could be allowed to say what the Nevis Cooperative is doing for this week, their specific activities.
Sure.
Then I can come back with just some remarks, and then if the general public would like to be involved in the discussion or you have any questions. So I don't want us to forget Nevis Cooperative in this in activities.
Right, thank you. And yes, as my colleague from the St. Kitts Credit Union did indicate, that we do have a reciprocal arrangement with the St. Kitts Credit Union and with the Police Credit Union, so that members on either island can walk into the branch offices of anyone and conduct business. And I also want to say that we have now expanded that, and we have that arrangement in place with the National Cooperative Credit Union in Dominica. And so that same arrangement is now in place there. And shortly we are hoping to have a similar arrangement in place with our sister credit union in Anguilla, which is the Liberty Credit Union. And so, you know, at the Nevis Credit Union, we are working to meet our members at their point of need without that prohibitive cost of doing business across borders. But I was asked to speak to our activities for it's basically a 2-week and not a 1 week. And we would have had a church service in Nevis at the Common Methodist Church on Sunday. And then on Monday, we made some of our usual contributions and donations to the various groups within the community that we would support on an ongoing basis. And one of the things that the Nevis Credit Union does is that we have a scholarship program for students entering the secondary schools, the public secondary schools here on Nevis. And this program is now 37 years. We have had about over 80 students who would have benefited, and they benefit from financial assistance for the entirety of their secondary school journey, and then goes on to the sixth form and the CFBC if they choose to go over to St. Kitts based on the offerings at the CFBC. And we also pay, in addition to the disbursements at the start of the school year, which covers books and uniforms and so on, we would pay for their exams, right? And so that commitment. And so on Monday we had the newest inductees. We had 3 students who were inducted into that program on Monday. And we also went straight from our youths to our seniors. We know that this month, October, is also the month of the older persons, and we give an annual contribution to the senior citizens, the seniors group, the government program that runs the social services seniors division. And so we would have made that donation to them as part of our contribution, not just Credit Union Week, but the month of the older persons. And additionally, we would have also given our annual contribution towards the Pink Lily Cancer Care. That also is another activity that is celebrated every October, Pink Lily Breast Cancer Awareness, and the Nevis Credit Union gives a donation to that worthy cause on an annual basis. So we did those on Monday. And then we had 2 new initiatives, and one initiative is that while we as the Nevis Credit Union contributes to education all year round, we started an Adopt a School initiative this year, and it's actually Adopt 2 schools. And so public primary schools are the schools that would have been eligible, and we had a drawing at our activity on Monday. And so the 2 schools that were the winners for the first year are the Charlestown Primary School and the Ivor Walters Primary School. And so those schools we would be going in and assisting with various products and projects throughout the year, and then the next 2 schools will benefit for the next year. From October to September, the program would run for 1 year. And so we've done that, and that is in addition to what we've been doing within our schools over the years in the Junior Savers program. We've always been in the schools with our Junior Savers program to get the children. And so, yes, our government has been talking about this mighty program, get the children educated in financial literacy. The Nevis Credit Union has been doing that for over 30 years. In the primary schools and in the secondary schools in Nevis, we have had that program, and so that continues. The next thing that, and so that was yesterday. This morning, we would have been on the morning story on 2020 Vision Radio, and promoting our activities for this year and what the credit union has been doing. And then tomorrow we are also going to be making our annual contribution to the health sector. And so every year in Credit Union Week we make a contribution to the health sector, and in terms of donation either to the Alexandra Hospital or the health centers. And so this year again it would be to the Alexandra Hospital. And on Thursday we are going to be having our president giving remarks on Credit Union Day, and then for the rest of the day we would be having our health fair at our offices there on the outside. And there is the old proverb, our health is our wealth, and so we will be having our health fair for all members, staff, and even the general public passing by, because the tents will be set up, and you can have your weight checked, you can have your blood pressure, you can have your blood sugar, you can have your BMI, you can get some education. And so we will have doctors and nurses there throughout the day sharing on that information for our members. As we continue on Friday would be our Member Appreciation Day, and so that we would be sharing various tokens and refreshments and so on with our members. Now, one of the things that we are doing throughout this entire week is something that we have dubbed our mix and match. And as you would have heard, that we are 52 years, and with changes, with growth, changes have come about, and our shares requirement have changed for our membership as time have passed. Presently, we have a lot of our members who would have purchased $100 in shares, and the minimum requirement now is $500 in shares for membership. We have offered payment plans and so on to get members up rather than trying to get you to get all of it at once. Well, our mix and match this week is that we are saying to our members who have that $100 in shares, come in, get your account updated, and that includes getting the proof of ID, proof of address and so on that we mentioned earlier, and get your shares up. The match part is, if you've got that $100 and you bring in $200 to make it $300, we, the Nevis Credit Union, we are going to put on that other $200 for you to get you up to the $500. And so you can't beat a deal like that. Your credit union is giving you shares, helping you to qualify for the full membership. Of course, that is for existing members who have not yet reached the $500. Right, so I want to make that clear. Right, so that's part of our mix and match, and so we update. Times have been changing, and we recognize that a lot of the members who would have had accounts there a long time ago, and we are also saying, unlike other financial institutions where your funds, you leave it for a few years and then it gets sent off to the central bank, we are saying, come on, come back in, check up. You had an account there, come and ask a question, and you'd be surprised to find that it's still there and it would have grown. And so we are saying, now bring us these documents to update it, get it back on track, and you realize, hey, this is an investment, this is a saving, something that you have had there has been building and working for you over the years. Yes, Mr.
I just want to interject. So, if I had an account from 50 years ago, and
you never closed it,
and I never closed it, it wouldn't go dormant, unlike the banks.
No, whereas it may have gone dormant, it would not have been transferred out of the credit union to the central bank, and so you would need to bring in these documents in order to reactivate it.
So that's another advantage of
the credit union system. Yes, we don't send your money away and then give you troubles to get it back. It's right there, and so it's easier for you to reactivate and then get access to the funds that you had there.
Although it's an advantage, you wouldn't encourage persons to allow it to go down?
No, because credit unions work because members are active, and so if it goes dormant, it means you're not active. We need you to be active. Right, so that's the activities for this week, but I did say that we have activities that goes beyond, basically 2 weeks, and so we then have, on the 23rd of October, we've got Synergy. Synergy is something that we introduced earlier this year from our education committee, and there are various programs which will teach our members about the different aspects of credit union. This time around, the focus is going to be financial literacy. Again, not only is it Credit Union Month, but it's Financial Information Month from the Central Bank. And so we are marrying all of that, and we are going to be having a workshop for small business owners. We know that there are a lot of persons with a small business who just do not know how to take the information that they have and make it into a meaningful plan, make it into a meaningful report. And the best buddy that you can have when you approach any financial institution for assistance is to have a financial report that makes sense. Right? And so what we are saying to our members now, that whatever information you have, we are going to show you how to turn that into the right kind of report so that you can see how your business is growing, you can see where you need to improve, where you have been wasting money, where you can do better, where you can grow, and all of that. And so we are going to be having that for our small business owners on 23rd of October. And if you are not yet a member of the Nevis Credit Union, then we are not saying where you can't come. This is for everyone, and it's also going to be on our social pages as well. On the 26th, Saturday the 26th of October, we are having our health and wellness soca size. That's at 6 a.m. and it's going to be at the Malcolm Gishard Recreational Park. And we have engaged the services of one of the top exercise gurus on Nevis. I'm not going to give the name. And so you come out and you're going to, we are going to be working with you. And you don't have to be a member of the Nevis Credit Union to register for that exercise also, because we are saying that we are inclusive. We are looking after everyone. And on the 2nd of November, that's the following Saturday, we are going to be having a community cleanup and a tree planting exercise. And the community that would be served has not yet been named, but we would be doing that. And throughout all of this, we are having trivia questions and daily. So you check out our social media pages, and trivia questions would be there, and there are prizes and surprises to be won. So you just go on, answer the question, and get that chance to get one of those wonderful surprises and prizes that's available. So that's it for us from the Nevis Cooperative Credit Union and our activities which we are doing. And again, I say we are looking from the very young, our students, our schools, right up to the very old, the month of the older persons, and everybody in between that can be affected, our Pink Lily, and our hospitals, our members, general public for the health fair. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense for you to say, I can't afford to go to the doctor, and then all of your funds go because some illness that you didn't catch. So the health fair that is going to be there, that's $150 savings for you.
Yes.
Right. I don't know what it is in St. Kitts, but in Nevis, definitely, that's $150 savings just to sit down in the doctor's chair, and then the tests that they have to do additionally. And credit union is saying unto you, we are offering this to you
free of cost.
Free of cost.
Mrs. Dale, I don't know if I can put in a plug here for my community of Websground, Zion, New River for the 26th. So you can probably bear that in mind.
That for the 2nd of November.
Yes, of course.
2nd of November. Yes, the 26th is the soca size.
Yes. Miss Estelle, I have a few questions that I would like to ask you. Some of the questions that I'll ask you would be the same that, I would have asked the two persons before. How can one become a member of your credit union? And how soon after one sign up, they can become a member?
Walking into the Nevis Credit Union with the required documents, the due diligence documents, address, proof of income, proof of ID, and so on. The process, we can walk through that entire process, take it from through the various stages, the different departments, compliance, everything, and have everything signed off, and you become a member right away. The caveat to that is that based on the AML laws, that anyone who is considered a PEP, politically exposed person, then we would not be able to do that right away, because enhanced due diligence would need to be done. And one of the things is that part of the enhanced due diligence is that these accounts now must pass through the board.
We have a call online. Caller, good evening and welcome to Let's Talk. Go right ahead.
Hi, good evening.
Good
want to
evening.
congratulate all of the panelists for doing such an excellent job in representing their credit unions and as well as the entire movement. So I have a question. So we've been talking about, or you've been talking about financial literacy, you've been talking about the importance of members understanding that, they are the owners of their credit union, the benefits that comes with that, the difference between, being an owner of the credit union and a shareholder of a financial institution, and the significance of, being part of the decision-making process. My question is, well, it's an observation and then it's a question. Not many of our members understand the financial statements of the institutions, that can help with them, being part of that decision-making process, whether it is by asking relevant questions, getting clarity in terms of proposals that are being put forth, and so forth, resolutions and so forth. What activities or what steps are the credit unions taking in helping our members to understand the financial statements of the credit union, so they know what the status is of the credit union? They understand, where their investment is. They understand, where the risks are. They understand, why they need to, ensure that they're repaying their loans. They are supporting their credit unions. They're coming on board. What have you been doing in terms of helping our members to understand the financial status of their credit unions?
Thank you, caller.
I'll listen off here. Thanks.
Thanks for your call.
All right. Thank you for the question. And what I can say that is one of the mandates of our education committee and our synergy that I would have mentioned. We are having next week the session for the small business owners. One of the sessions that is planned is exactly what you have mentioned, a session in understanding financial statements. What are they made up of? Why are they important? How can they be used? And we also have our a program that's called Insight. It's very similar to what Brother Hodge said that they're doing from the St. Kitts Credit Union, or will be doing from the St. Kitts Credit Union, and so we have these programs and we have them recorded and they are placed on our social media pages, and so they would always be there. And so each one just gives us a little insight on a little piece of financial literacy, financial information, and together we are able to then see everything that is needed, but get it in small bites so that you don't become overwhelmed, because you can get all of the wonderful information, but if too much of it comes at you at the same time, it can be just as detrimental because you do not absorb it and you actually become fearful of it. So yes, thank you for the question, and that is one of what is being addressed through our education committee and our program, which we are called, we've dubbed Synergy.
I hope that would have answered your questions, caller. Ms. Esdale, you spoke about scholarships for students. How do the credit union go about selecting, or who select the awardees for these scholarships? And that's one. Two, you spoke about a new initiative that came into being, and there was a draw, and the CPS, the Charleston Primary School, and the Ivy Waters Primary School are the first. I believe that's so. Is it so?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, fine. And then you also said that the other public schools would be part, but would there be another draw, or the other public schools would be selected?
The other schools, these two schools will be for this year, October to September.
Right.
And then after that, then there would be another draw. These two schools will not be in.
Okay.
Because it is supposed to be that at the end of the first 4 years, all of the public schools in Nevis would have already had a turn, and so these two schools will not be in. But we try, rather than having anyone say, well, select this school or select that school, have a draw, so that whatever schools are drawn, then obviously the last two will be selected.
So you'll have 3 draws.
We'll have 3 draws, and then we won't need to have a 4th. And for our scholarship awardees, what we do, we ask these schools to send us potential candidates. And these are candidates who meet certain criteria. They are candidates who would have done well in their primary school education. They have now gone on to secondary school. and the families can use some assistance. We know there are lots of families around, and we can't help everybody. But there are also lots of scholarship programs around. But so we ask the schools to send us a list of candidates, and then we will then, a panel would meet with these candidates and their parents or guardians, and have discussions and interviews, and at the end of that, then the decision would be taken as to which one of the students, or which two of the students, or which three of the students would be the ones that would be offered the scholarship for that particular year. When we had our 50th anniversary, the bold decision was taken to give all of them as part of the 50th anniversary, but this year, even though it's just 2 public schools, there are 3 students, so it would be 2 from one school and 1 from the other school, and it may alternate in another year, and so on. So it all depends on the caliber of students that we are presented with, and the decision of the panel. So, and the panel does not work on feelings, but there is going to be a matrix that is
particular criteria.
Yes.
Okay. The award is for these scholarships. The parents or guardian, do they have to be a member of the credit union?
No, you do not need to be a credit union member to be considered. And so that's why the schools are the ones who send us the list of students. We do not tell them, well, first have an interview to ask them if they're credit union members. No.
Okay. Mr. Jenkins, you would like to add anything?
Yes, I have a couple of things I want to add. And if there's any person in the audience, I want to see your demographics. If there's anyone under 16, I'm going to have a question for you. Only if you are under 16, you can answer the question and win membership at one of the credit unions. I have a couple of other things I wanted to add. One was that...
So, sorry, maybe you could ask the question now, because we are running out of time, and then you could, while we wait for callers, you can...
Yeah, well, the answer is in what I'm going to say just now, so that is why. The movement is based on volunteerism. So, you have board of directors. Well, our board of directors, we don't get paid. This is volunteer. So if you serve on the credit committee, you serve on the supervisory committee, you serve on the board, it is volunteer or local. So everything rests with us. We have no excuse. The credit unions are run by its members. And so we make an appeal for persons with skills to come on board. We need people in IT, we need people in governance, we need people in accounts, finance, people who represent community organizations, young people. We need these different categories of members to come on board to buttress this local institution, which is called the credit union movement. We make an appeal, as I said, for persons to come forward, come to your credit union, join up, or if you're a member already, offer yourself for service, at the level of the board, at the level of the committees, so that we can continue the development of the sector. Remember, you serve for 6 years maximum, and then you have to excuse yourself and allow other people to come in and take over. So it is for, in a sense, a limited time only. The fun day on Saturday, I won't say much about that, except that I would like to see as many persons as possible. And then we have proven with the credit unions that the cooperative movement, the model is possible. And I think we need to put more emphasis now in the non-financials. And I think that having shown that the finance sector of the cooperative movement is possible, that we have done it successfully in St. Kitts and Nevis, we now need to pay some attention to the non-financials. Our motto is people helping people, and I want to at this point recognize the contribution of Mr. Newton at the Nevis Cooperative Credit Union. He has served with distinction, and he has been a pillar. He has been a pillar, and I think he needs to be recognized for the contribution that he has made not only to the Nevis Cooperative, but also to the movement in general. So tonight, I think we need to recognize him for the work that he has done. In saying that, yes, we should give him a big hand. We should give him a big hand. Rebo, I know he's listening, and we thank you for the privilege. I just want to run through some statistics, because normally Rebo would ask me about the statistics every time I come here. So I want to say between 2019 and 2023, these are some of the statistics that are important. In terms of membership, the membership grew from 28,957 to 37,094. Somebody can calculate what percentage increase that is. Savings grew from 344 million to 508 million during the period 2019 to 2023. Loans grew from 282 million to 405 million. And assets of the credit union sector, that is the four affiliates combined, the assets grew from 420 million to 632 million. So these statistics indicate that we are dealing with a serious sector of the financial space in St. Kitts and Nevis. And so if anyone out there under 16 can say the savings in 2019, they would win a membership to one of the credit unions, it will be a donation that I will make, because I would like to encourage the young people to be part of this movement. What were the savings in 2019 of the credit union sector? With those few words, I want to thank you for the opportunity for coming on Van Radio, and I look forward to a successful week.
Mr. Jenkins, just before you say your final words, you made an appeal for persons to come forward to serve on the boards, and I know persons who are listening who may not be members. To serve on the board, do you have to be a member?
Yes, you have to come into the movement. You have to become a member, get acquainted with how we do things, and then you offer yourself for service at the higher level. On the credit committee, offer yourself on the supervisory committee, get elected, and you move up.
So, persons under 16, you can call. You will be able to tell them what they would win, Mr. Jenkins.
Yeah, they would become a member. They would become a member of one of the credit unions. So they start off with whatever is the amount on the account, and with time, compound interest, and with time, by the time they get to 18, 19, 20, they would have a good financial egg.
And can you just repeat the question one more time?
What were the savings, combined savings, in the credit union movement in 2019?
Okay, we are running down, on time, ladies and gentlemen. So we're asking those of you who might be under 16 years to, make haste and try to call and see if you can win yourself a savings account at any credit union of your choice, at a particular credit union.
Well, I'm a member of 3 of them, so I can choose one of the 3. I can choose one of the
3. Okay. What we can do in the interest of time, maybe we can ask Miss Esdale, are there any closing remarks?
Yes, in closing, I just want to say thanks for having us here. Thanks to you for hosting, for the regular host, Mr. Everett Rebel Herbert. Thanks to all of the staff at Von Radio, our technician here tonight, Melissa. It's good to have you here. Thank you. And to all those who are listening, we just want to say the credit union is the best kept secret, and it's about time that this secret becomes well known. Don't keep it a secret anymore. Make it the the biggest scandal that there is in terms of that everybody knows about it, right? The good scandal, everybody knows about it, and so make the credit union your preferred financial space, preferred place for you to come and do business, and to become part of the family. We are all here, we are all willing, and we are all eager to assist you. And as we assist you, we are assisting our nation that we can grow and become one of the, or continue to be the leader in the financial space that we are.
Could I just make one statement? On the league board, we have two representatives from the Nevis Cooperative. They are Catherine Forbes and Vanicia Walters, and I think while I have been there, they have served with distinction, loyalty. They were dedicated, and they served the interests of the movement, and I wanted to recognize them, record the gratitude of the movement for their service.
Mr. Hodge, Mr. Lecointe, 30 seconds to just give closing remarks. 30 seconds each.
Speaking this one, right?
Yes.
All right, well, I'd just like to thank you for having us. Mr. Jenkins, thank you for inviting First Federal Cooperative Credit Union. One thing that I do want to say that I don't think I touched when I was speaking earlier is the requirements to become a member at First Federal Cooperative Credit Union. And it's very simple. All you need is your 2 IDs, a proof of address which is dated within the last 3 months, and 26170. And that is all you need to become a First Federal Cooperative Credit Union member.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks. Mr. Hodge?
I would just like to say thank you to Van Radio for hosting us. Thank you for all the listeners who've given their time to hear what we have to say. And of course, you can follow us and get all the information www.skcu.com, or follow us on Facebook or Instagram. You'll get all the insight and information right there.
Mr. Jenkins, you have 20 seconds.
Oh, I thought I had completed. I want to thank the operator. Thank you for the courtesies extended. To Webo for allowing us the opportunity to be on the program. To you, sir, for so ably for facilitating the program this evening. To the colleague members who made this program possible and were able to represent the movement with distinction. I want to thank you all for coming. We didn't get a representative from police, perhaps because they're not really resident of Nevis, but we have the 4 affiliates in the movement, and we encourage persons in the federation to join a credit union near you. Get your children involved at an early age. Get them to understand the importance of saving.
That's the last word, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, we had in our studios representatives from the various credit unions and of course the St. Kitts Nevis National Cooperative Credit League. Ladies and gentlemen, that was your program for the 15th of October 2024. You can join us again next week, but tomorrow this show will be rebroadcast at 10 a.m. and we invite you to tune in to the Caribbean Powerhouse tomorrow evening, Wednesday at 8 p.m. for On the Mark with the Honorable Mark Brantley. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Roger Fifield. Have a wonderful night. May God bless you and may God bless us all.
Views and opinions expressed on the preceding program were solely those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Nevis Broadcasting Company Limited or its